What's up, YouTube? ODST General back again, guys, with another Operation Trebuchet news update. And today, guys, we have a few different things to show off to you guys. Mostly stuff we've seen before, but it's all still really awesome. So let's go ahead and let's dive into it. Starting us off, we have weapons, of course. With regards to the weapons, we have the new grenade that is being worked on by Freeman here. Now, it does sound like this grenade is actually intended for release into the mod now. I was a little uncertain of that last week, and I'm still not 100% certain, but just based off the way Freeman's describing this thing, it sounds like he's already got some solid stuff in mind, so it'll probably go into the mod. He said it's the UNSC's equivalent of the RGN grenade. It's called the M9B. So pretty cool stuff there. Not really a whole lot else to say about it besides that, though. I guess obviously, like I said, you don't really get to see grenades too well during normal gameplay and stuff like that. However, obviously performance-wise stuff like that, they are very useful to have. So different types of grenades is always a good thing to have too. With regards to the other stuff, though, we've got vehicles up next. So with vehicles, Hollywood's been putting in a ton of work this week. Pretty much, all of his vehicles are nearing completion. He's basically, I think, gotten all of the exteriors of pretty much all of his vehicles wrapped up, making maybe a couple final tweaks and touches here. Now moving into the interiors of the vehicle, which is what we see in this first screenshot with the longsword, is you see him working on the different seats for it. So you can see the pilot's seat and working on like a secondary seat for it. So you get like somebody wearing the harness or whatever, like a hard harness that comes down. You see some interior shots with a mocked up Marine or ODST or whatever in there. It looks like it's probably a Marine and EVA. It doesn't really matter, but it's interior shots of the longsword is what it is. We've also got some exterior shots of the longsword's landing gear and the work in progress nose mounted gun for it. So pretty cool looking weapon. Not exactly sure how that one will operate, and I don't know if it'll have the top mounted dual Gatling guns that the previous version kind of had, or if it's just going to be this nose-mounted weapon, or a combination of both. So it'll be kind of interesting to see. We do see in the back multiple seats for the different stations back there as well. Not really much else to say about that. There's a bunch of other interior shots, though, of the pilot and co-pilot, so those are pretty cool looking. It's awesome looking stuff. I'm very excited for the longsword, as I said. A little bummed out it's not the Halo 1 version. We're going with the smaller version, but from a gameplay perspective, that old version, that big one, was problematic. It didn't perform very well, so it's an understandable shift. Speaking of shifts, let's go ahead and shift on over and talk about the Kodiak. I was going to say the Kodiak. It's actually the Rhinos up first, then the Kodiak. Regardless, cool stuff. Not much else to say. It's gone through a number of tweaks and changes. The most notable change or whatever here would probably be the fact that we are once again now working on the interior for this vehicle. The exterior did go through a number of changes though, but yeah, the interior is kind of the big thing. So get a little bit of a peek at that and seeing the different positions for like the driver, the commander, the gunner, all that stuff. So pretty neat stuff there. Then that brings us into the Kodiak. So with the Kodiak, pretty similar thing here. The exterior is pretty much finished up. You can see that. You can see the gunned down version, the mobile version, and then the version of it where it is got its outriggers down, the gun's extended up, and it's into a set artillery position. So both of those very cool looking. Very excited for them. Personally, I don't know which of those I'm more excited for. I just want artillery in the game so badly. That's Halo related. So having both is great because then it kind of gives you the ability for like units to distinguish between like, hey, this is maybe insurrectionist artillery and this is UNSC artillery, or just more variety, which is always great. Either way you go. From the perspective of the Kodiak, the interior is not quite as far along as the Rhino is, but it is still being worked on. Yeah, you can see some of the work in progress seats for those. Different stations, stuff like that. But not much else to say with regards to that. So I guess the other thing is we talked about the APC Kodiak last week, And that is still a maybe for the mod. It may or may not get added in after the other stuff's done, but that's still up in the air, so we'll have to wait and see for further progress on these vehicles, what happens with that one ultimately. That brings us over to buildings, and we have the modular doors that Kenny's working on for the other developers to make buildings and stuff. So we've got a bunch of different doors. Not really anything to say in particular about these. They're doors. It's good stuff. It's great stuff from a building perspective and a modding perspective, and anything that gets buildings done faster is amazing in my book. Not just great, but amazing. But you can see him kind of swapping out the different doors and stuff here. Basically swapping them out. You can see all these doors that are the same size but of different styles and stuff like that. So that's really cool. But yeah, not much else to say beyond that. Oh, that's actually not an op tray building, so I gotta move that one out to the back of this. So then we also see some other work from, I believe this was all from Kenny here as well. I have to go back and check. Unfortunately, I forgot to list who this was from. I'm pretty sure Kenny posted these as well. But we have the exterior waterfront walls from Halo 2. So you can see these are like large city-scale walls, kind of similar to the city-sized walls that we have in Optray currently. These are designed in the game to go on the waterfront, but they work wherever, I suppose. These things are going to be massive walls, which is fine. Big walls, small walls, it's all great. Really not much else to say about it. You're just seeing the different iterations, different little design aspects and accents and stuff on there, as well as some scaling alongside a Arma person to give you guys different scales that the things could potentially be. We get the sense or scale that they're big. Then beyond that, we've got a couple other buildings that I believe were also being worked on by Kenny. So, cool stuff there. Once again, not much else to say. We've kind of seen these before. They actually look kind of sort of similar to some of the buildings already in Optray, but a little bit different, which is always nice. I actually think those are based off of the wall connectors too, but they kind of look similar to some of the buildings that are already in Optray, which are probably based off of something else, I think. And then to round us off with official mod news, we have Go After It. Further working on the stabilizer rings and stuff, more Twizzlers and stuff, as I've been calling them recently, with all the wiring and cables and stuff. But we've only got the one picture to show off this week. So that brings us over to community news. With community news, I've only got one thing to show off this week as well. GEK Vengeful, who you guys know by his awesome compositions and his frequent screenshots that make it into my videos, has started taking a shot at modeling, starting off with the barricades as seen in ODST. And awesome stuff. I mean, not much else to say about them. They're still very early work in progress. This is a great prop, though. This is actually a prop I've been kind of waiting for a while, too. Something that could be placed down basically anywhere. Hopefully this would be animated, I would imagine, but maybe not. I don't know. But something that you could just throw down and actually have, like, this is a barricade on your roads. But regardless, guys, let me know what you think. And like always, I want to hear what you guys are most excited for from this week's video, as well as anything else potentially Halo related going into the mod. Alright guys, take it easy. I'll see you in the next one.